Have you ever actually stopped to think about how you speak? I mean, really think about it. Every single word you've ever said started out as this invisible, totally silent spark of electricity inside your brain. So how does that happen? How does a thought, something you can't even touch, become the actual sound of your voice? Well, it turns out the answer is unlocking one of the greatest secrets of the human mind. Seriously, just for a second. How does that simple intention to say something travel through all your neural pathways, command dozens of muscles with perfect split-second timing, and then just come out into the world of speech? It's a process that is so seamless, so automatic, we do it thousands of times a day without even noticing. But figuring out how it works, that is the key to one of the biggest breakthroughs in neuroscience we've seen in a long time. It all kicks off right here, inside the speech cortex. Every word is first just a unique pattern of neurons firing off. It's this incredibly complex electrical dance that holds the blueprint for the sound you're about to make. Okay, but now imagine for a second that the blueprint is still there. Your mind is still buzzing with ideas, with stories, with feelings, but something, somewhere, is broken. The connection is just gone. Those electrical signals, they can't reach your muscles anymore. You're what's called locked in, completely unable to speak. And this isn't some sci-fi scenario. For thousands of people, this is their reality. You see, for people with conditions like Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis, or ALS, the brain's commands for speech are all still being created perfectly. The blueprint is there, but the path is blocked. Those commands have nowhere to go. And it's that profound, heartbreaking silence that a team of researchers decided they were gonna break. So if the words are trapped inside the brain, how in the world do you get them out? Well, first, you need a way to listen in. Not with your ears, but with something way, way more sensitive. This thing you're looking at, it's basically a microphone for the brain. These tiny little arrays of electrodes are implanted right into the speech cortex to eavesdrop on the conversations happening between neurons. They pick up the raw electrical signals of attempted speech. And it's all about precision, right? 4 of these arrays are placed in a very specific spot in the speech cortex. And they're not just picking up general noise, they're recording the individual spiking of specific neurons. These are the intended commands for every tiny muscle movement you need for speech. And what's absolutely incredible is that the brain keeps generating these detailed commands, these blueprints, even years after a person has lost the ability to speak. It's all still there. Okay, so you've got the raw data, but that's only half the battle. It's like having a book written in a language nobody on Earth understands. To read it, you're going to need a translator, and in this case, a very, very smart one. This is where the magic really happens. So, step 1. The brain signals get captured. Then, a special kind of AI acts like a code breaker. It listens to all that neural chatter and figures out the probability of each basic sound of speech. The phonemes, like the b or k sounds. And finally, a language model, which is kind of like a superpowered version of your phone's autocorrect, takes all those sound possibilities and pieces them together into the most likely words and sentences. And let me show you what this translation actually looks like, because it's amazing. On the left, you've got the raw language of the brain. It's a storm of neural activity. The AI takes all that chaos and transforms it into the image you see on the right, a spectrogram. You can think of it like a picture of sound, showing the pitch and volume of a voice. I mean, that is the incredible moment an invisible thought becomes something we can actually see and understand. So we have the microphone and we have the translator. But the big question is, does it actually work? And, how well? This is where the story goes from just being incredible science to a life-changing reality. Get this, 62 words per minute. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't just a small step up, it's a massive leap, 3.4 times faster than the previous record. We are getting incredibly close to the speed of natural, everyday conversation. And what can be said? Well, almost anything you can think of. The system is pulling from a vocabulary of 125,000 words. We are not talking about picking from a list of preset phrases here. We're talking about enabling spontaneous, free-flowing, natural conversation, the ability to tell a joke, to share a secret, or to simply say, "I love you," straight from a thought. But what about accuracy? I mean, speed is great, but is it understandable? Well, it's just as impressive. You can see here that the old record had a much higher error rate. But this new system, even with that gigantic 125,000-word vocabulary, has a word error rate of just under 24%. For spontaneous sentences, that is truly remarkable. And if you need to see it to believe it, here it is. The top row shows the sound that was decoded directly from the brain signals. The bottom row is the original speech they were aiming for. The similarity is just stunning. I mean, think about that. You are literally looking at a thought being turned into a voice. You know, the researchers who did this work, they said it best. This isn't just some fascinating lab experiment anymore. This is a feasible path forward. The science is now pointing toward a future where this becomes a real-world solution for people who've lost their voice. So what's the big takeaway here? Why is this such a huge deal? Because our ability to communicate is, well, it's everything. It's how we connect, how we show love, how we keep our independence and our identity. This technology isn't just about decoding words. It's about restoring a fundamental part of what it means to be human. And that just leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought. We've just seen science decode the intention to speak, which is a monumental step. But what other silent signals are waiting inside your mind, just waiting to be understood? The conversation is really just beginning.